Okay, it's a day in the life, and I had taken the day because I needed to go take care of my mom a little bit and just kind of work out some details for her. But so we made a plan. So the kids have their day off today. It's Thursday, and I've been changing my work schedule so that I can have a little more time available to care for my family. So this morning I got my husband out the door. I have broken my fingernail, so that needs repair. But I got my husband out the door. We bought our burial plots yesterday. It's lovely. I'm gonna propose the same location for my mom. Let her see it. It's indoors. I think she'll like that. It's a kitsch. So this morning I got up, I got Mark out the door, got him toast and stuff, and out the door he goes. Then I walked the dog for the first time. Got in the car, drove 20 miles towards Karsten's house because we're all going to go work out today. So I'm investing in the health of my family today. And so I drove 20 miles that way to go pick him up and the dog and walk all of them. So we went to the dog park, and Nigel just lost his mind. Now, he's so smart, but he can tell when we're going over to Karsten's house when we hit the parkway. And Karsten's house, which is still my house, but there it is. Then, so Nigel comes barging in, and Karsten is about to feed all the snakes, which means that there is a pan of large frozen rats on the floor. Yuck. Luckily, Nigel just smelled them and went, ooh. And that made me love the dog a little bit more. And so we took the dogs to the park. Nigel just lost his mind. He loves the dog park. And he just runs and runs and runs and runs and runs and runs and runs. And it makes me so happy to watch his tongue comes out the side. And today he met Blue, and there's an older woman there who's probably in her 70s or her very late 60s, but she has it's about the length of a pool noodle, but it's just like a glow-in-the-dark orange, hunting orange plastic stick that she keeps just to keep, anything from hitting her. Because her dog is named Blue, and Blue is a big dog. Blue is made of pure muscle, and he's probably even weighs more than Nigel. So Nigel's at 74 pounds, and if that dog accidentally runs into you because he's, out of his mind running around having a great day, that dog will take you out. And for her, she knows, like, those dogs come too close to her, so she's not going to hurt the dog. She's not going to hit the dog. She's just going to have this real bright thing so they will stay away from her. And that's also for her own dog. So she's like, I'm not going to hit the dog. And so, like, people don't trust her because she's carrying a big stick. So we laughed about that. But Blue is the name of her dog. And Blue is aptly named because the coat of her skin is almost blue as well. And she's just a beautiful dog. She told me the name of it, and it was a name that I didn't recognize. So it's it's a real fancy dog. But that dog, my dog weighs 74 pounds. Hers probably weighs about 85 pounds. And it's pure muscle, and it's got this giant head like a mastiff. It kind of looks like a mini mastiff. And, it's spit and slobber and so forth. And then we also have our other dog, which is Karsten's dog, which is which is Rusco. So we had all the dogs running around, and I look back, and Rusco just has all of the spit and slather from Blue just rubbed on him. And then Nigel's trying to lick it off. It's just so gross. So we got down at the dog park. My son is crazy about this new Pokemon card set that is out, and so he wants to go to Target every morning. So we went to Target. I said, there's not going to be anything out there. Nobody has, by the time we got to Target, it was 8 o'clock. They're not going to be there. So stop. So, but he goes into Target to check out if they have any of these new Pokemon cards, because he wants to flip them. He's trying to make some money real quick. And he figures, if he makes $100 extra today, that's a big deal for him. He can pay some more on rent. And he was feeling really good about himself. One, he put $100 down on rent today, and $125 actually, and he paid his car insurance. So, and his car insurance is $1,600 because of the stupid things that are happening with Hyundais. But it's a good car. Like the dilemma is that that's a great car, but that car is going to have to go. And I looked at his car payment the other day because I'm like, why are you running out of money so much? Well, it's because I just figured out that he's been making double payments on the car. So he thinks his car payment is $259. Well, one car payment comes out at $300 and another one comes out at $259. So that's a lot for their budget. So he's running out of money. He feels like he doesn't have a dollar, but he doesn't actually know it because he doesn't check. He's not curious enough about his own money. He just knows that he needs more. That's kind of how he's dealing with it. So I go, look, I'm going to drop you at Target. There's not going to be anything, but I'm just going to drive around and come bitch up. So I drive around, go pick him up. And that child, this is how you know that he has traveled the world with me. Because when we used to live in Brazil, when we came out of our apartment, they had all the street vendors. And the street vendor that I loved so much made these coxinas. And these coxinas, like I would buy, and as many as they would sell me in the morning. Sometimes I'd buy 6. And they're like these little chicken droplets that have an outer coating on them. And they are just, they are my magic little treat. And they're deep fried. And a lot of times at that time, you kind of pick up something off of the street because it's actually more affordable, because groceries were really expensive there. At the time we lived there, the country was in a revolution, and the government had changed, so like there was a lot of stuff going on there. So you really couldn't, inflation was just crazy. I mean, inflation was 800% in some things. So if you think you're crazy at 400, imagine it at 800. And so people would just buy food off of the street for that one meal. Not for the whole day, but for a meal. So anyway, so the street vendors would come out early so that you would pick it up and go to lunch. The other thing is that the government had this little lunch ticket system. So that was kind of their food stamp method, is you got these little lunch tickets and then you turned them in and the government would pay you. So anyone who had a lunch ticket could come and buy something from the vendor. So the vendor that was out there on your way to work would get the ticket, because then you would pick up your lunch before you actually had lunch, in case you had to work through lunch. So the coxina was there. So anyway, what this all bridges towards is we would get out in the morning and we would just smell to see if the vendor was there, because we could smell her cooking oil and the food. We could smell the food. So Karsten comes out of Target today and he goes, I can smell those tamales. There's tamales around here. There's something's cooking. And there was a Mexican grocery store across the parking lot. And he goes, I know they're open. That you got to go this other way, and it's this thing, and it looks like it's closed, but I know there's tamales in there. So, and he's right. He was right. So you wouldn't know the store was open. so we went in, and the other thing about having lived all over the world is that he loves all the flavors of his childhood. And one of the flavors that we had from living in Brazil is guava and goiaba. And so he is crazy for that. And like none of his friends know this flavor, and it's one of our favorites. And it was a juice that he had a lot as a child. And it's funny as an adult to see your child grow up, because he goes into a store from another country, and it is a gift, right? That you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to find out what all these things taste like or are. So I saw the dogs in the car. We had gone to the park. We tried to wash them up, get them back in the car. I don't have the junky car right now because it's in repair. So I have the good car. So I have 2 dirty, smelly dogs in the back of my beautiful luxury car. And I'm like, And then I just said, look, I'll drop you off at the Mexican grocery store, and I'll wait out here with the dogs. And as soon as I did that, and then I smelled the smells, and I went, oh, this is going to cost me too much money. So I buckled up the car, put the sunroof open so they had some fresh air, and went into the grocery store. And just as I had suspected, there's my son, who is a grown man, with all the tamales in a bag, and his arms are full of stuff from the grocery. There's drinks and all these other things. And he likes these drinks that have like chunks in them. I don't. And when he was a child, we also drank this, like, it wasn't like kefir, but it was, it's like a yogurt and fruit mixed drink. And he loves those. So do I. And so he's got all of these very yogurt, milky drinks with chunks. And I can see him just at the grocery store. So I was so glad that I went in, because his arms were filling. And I went in, one, because I had given him my debit card, but I knew that there were too many good foods in there. And smelling it, I was in trouble. I was going to be in so much trouble, because he was going to eat everything. And but we got out of there for like $40, but 20 of it was in drinks. So we got that. So then we went back to his house, and now we're going to work out, but I can't leave those 2 dogs at his house. So we picked another location to go work out at. So right now I'm driving back to my house, put my dog at my house. Karsten is going to feed off his dead rats to the snakes. And I've already eaten our tamales this morning. And so that's it so far. And I'm going to stop in and see my mom and check on her. We should have brought her a tamale. That's really what we should have done, because she would really like these. I think she would really enjoy that. So I think I might actually text to see if there's still one extra tamale that we could have brought her. And my mom is good right now. Getting her out every day is kind of everybody's goal is, and we have a new granny cam this year, in the last 1 year. And boy, it's really helpful, because I can just check in to make sure that she's not, on the floor. And that's good. And she's got a watch now. Karsten got her one of those fancy watches, and the watch has a 911 capacity to it. But when she fell just the other day, she could call me from the watch. And she keeps that watch on. She does a very good job of that. And so I'm very, 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 very thankful for that. The other thing, what else is going on? Oh, then I got a couple of other big wins this week going on. So my husband went on his day off yesterday. So his other friend is saying, hey, I think you need a different job. He's still working for the post office. He had his 6 months, but he is really, they aren't easing up on his hours. So it's 65 to 70 hours a week, and it's running season. So running is still his number one priority in his life. So he goes, I think I could be a bus driver. I said, okay, well, let me see if there's any jobs right here. And he wants to work really close to our house. So there's a Catholic school just down the street called Holy Angels. So I just looked up bus driver near me, put in our address, and lo and behold, the Catholic school has the need for a bus driver. And they have a hiring bonus, and they pay more per hour, but they don't have any overtime. But they do have that, and they don't have a union, and they don't have some other things. But he brought it up to his friend, and his friend goes, oh my gosh, my other friend had that job, and he really loved it. So Mark goes yesterday to go interview for this job, and they send him right away to get a Department of Transportation physical. So then he went to do that physical and then was late for our appointment to go get our burial spots. But we got our burial spots yesterday. And so now he's going to study for a new test. And that's it. I am now, so thanks for driving across town with me. I am now home. And now I'm going to switch things up. Drop the dog, and gonna go work out and get my mom some groceries, and then I'll have all afternoon to work, because today I just know that it's gonna be a big day for my husband at work, because yesterday was a light day. So if there's a light day of delivering mail, the next day it's gonna be long. So I'll get to work all afternoon, and that'll feel great. All right. That's it. A day in the life.